Hello, everybody. Welcome to your April part 2. We are right in eclipse season now, and there's a lot of potential that's here in these transits, in these energies. You know, astrology is like a clock. It's talking about themes, but how each human soul interfaces with these themes is highly unique. And so we are still under this very strong Jupiter-Neptune conjunction. It perfected on the 12th of April, but is taking us strongly through the third week. But further, this conjunction, which is new beginnings, new chapters, that's what conjunctions are about. A new cycle, like the Pluto conjunct Pluto in the United States, a new cycle. And this will carry strong energy through 2035, when then Jupiter conjuncts Neptune in Aries. It won't conjunct in Pisces again until 2188. So just to give you broad perspective here. And so this Jupiter-Neptune is really, in my view, about these vertical relationships, these dimensional, the multi-dimensional energy, which each soul carries within it, and the potential for developing that further to bring more of that heart space to bear and great love in your journey, because en masse, we are suffering from low self-esteem and fear issues, and because so much of that collectively through the past periods has been tapped down, the consciousness, but this is continuing to grow and expand as people are reaching out for the development of that energy within themselves. So Jupiter-Neptune is the expansion of what's Neptune? Spirituality, beauty, creativity, art, also healing. You know, all these beautiful healing technologies, sound healing, cymatic healing, vibrational laser healing. This is going to continue to grow and expand into the years ahead. But also, Jupiter is about the search for truth. And that's been challenging on planet because we have power controlling information so strongly. So it's a little tricky time for that, right? But this is the focus on your inner truth, you see. We're so programmed to look out there to define who we are, what our reality is, how we should think. And the opposite of that is the expansion within of your own sensory self, of your own intuition, of your own sense of knowing. So this is why this is such a big new cycle here on Earth School. And we're still under this Saturn square North Node from Aquarius to Taurus, which is really, and I've been hearing this from everyone, it's bringing up a lot of fear themes, a lot of limitation themes. But how I work, I'm an integration practitioner, and I see the problem as the learning for each and every one of us that then leads to resolutions, you see, or on the spiral, we're meeting, and you may be very aware of some old problems, ways of thinking, fears that have come back round again this month, that is seeking a different consciousness to elevate that. So fear, uncertainty, insecurity is also part of this month. The problem, the resolution, the tension, the propulsion, because we're also, Jupiter and Neptune especially is carrying its sextile to that North Node in Taurus, which is all about your values, living by your values and healing self-esteem issues and working with your resources, your conscious resources, your heart, your mind. That's the opportunity in this as you're aware of old fear paradigms or old limiting paradigms. So we give great blessing to this energy as well. And this Neptune sextile North Node, is carrying strongly through about the 26th of April. And it'll start, the separating. Jupiter's been sextiling that North Node as well. And I often see this with clients. There's tension, there's a problem, but running right alongside that are resources and opportunity and growth. Always, without fail, I see this over and over and over with each person I'm working with. Now, on the 14th, Mars headed into Pisces, where he'll be transiting until May 24th. And the ego in the energy of Pisces is being asked to surrender a bit, to not push in the external of making things happen. But again, it's the call to the inner energy. And there's a bit of surrender energy here. But what I mean by that is surrendering desires and outcomes to universal wisdom. Because so often things drop or they form in the hologram, in your reality when the timing is right. And it's hard for the ego to figure out when the timing is right. And so that's some of the angst that the left brain or the egoic mind goes through. Like, I need this to happen here and in that way. And as you work with your energy more, you understand that things come online when the timing's right. And what it is building up trust, even while many may be feeling very betrayed in different ways with systems on planet. But this again is the invitation back to building your own sense of empowerment, sovereignty, building all of these information faculties that you carry within you. Now, we have the full moon on the 16th, and this is in Libra. It's at 27 degrees of Libra, which is always about relationship, but also harmony and about balance and the interaction with people. And it is squaring up to Pluto. So it's bringing up again, kind of like that Saturn square, old programming themes, from authority figures, be that parents, governments, bosses, peer groups, whatever that is. But this full moon is making a very stable trine to Saturn in Aquarius. So again, you see the theme here. Problem, tension, resolution. Here's the way, here's the way. So while that's squaring Pluto in Capricorn, the full moon in Libra is trining Saturn in Aquarius, which is what's your path or your authentic path. This can also show up as nice support from friends or a friendship or, collective energy or your tribe that is very stable. And also, for some of you, a growing sense of stability in what you're doing and your commitment to your own path, your own unique path, Aquarius, even while we're moving through these integration themes with the Pluto and with the soul energy. So we can expect developments there on the 16th with relationships in some fashion, but also the call for inner balance. How do you find inner balance? Now, the 19th, the sun is heading into Taurus, which is very nice. It's really going to be bringing conscious awareness around this Uranus and this North Node energy. It may feel like, oh, I'm getting this now, or I have a stronger sense of what this means for me in my life and my growth trajectory. Certainly, it's an increased focus on resources and finances. and working with your own resources. And again, I want to say, my whole business is built upon being a consulting coach, intuitive, working through astrologer. I am not a mundane astrology. So for our purposes, I am always interested in the individual's path here. So that'll be an increasing focus every year, as it is for the next 4 weeks from the 19th onward. Then as we're moving into the towards the 29th of the month, Pluto, which is all about the generational influences, stations retrograde at 28 degrees of Capricorn. And he'll be retrograde through October. So we often see developments when these big planets are stationing either direct or retrograde. And then no new themes from power on planet, but also you're working with your own subconscious mind and your own inner terrain through the months ahead. What's also happening on the 29th is Mercury is transiting into Gemini, and Mercury will be transiting its home sign until July 5th. So that always tells me, oh, this is important. The mind, your conscious mind, how you communicate, how you speak, your inner narrative, which again is something I keep focusing on for clients, is how do you speak to yourself? If we could climb in other people's brains, we would be at the self-talk. Mercury is already slowing down for its retrograde that will occur on May 10th. And then it'll retrograde back into Taurus around the 20th of May, and then station direct on, June 3rd at 26 degrees of Taurus, and it will head back into Gemini through July 5th. So we're seeing communications tied to Taurus, second house, self-esteem, self-confidence, self-love, being grounded in the sensual, grounded in the senses, grounded in what brings you comfort. Mars is going to be working in this very area when he transits into Gemini in August. And he retrogrades at the end of October till mid-January, and he'll be transiting through Gemini till March 2023. So this is a collective theme on planet. Our self-expression, how we communicate, also where we live, our environment, which again, where you live, it can bring about very different circumstances from other people in your country even, and where they live. It's about the community. It's about neighbors, the neighborhood, siblings, relatives, school systems, especially the lower school systems, transportation themes. So we see this beautiful kind of synastry going on with the universe's themes that we watch through the sacred geometry. So Mercury's already slowing down. You want to wrap things up. If you have new things to pursue, contracts to get signed, but it's really slowing its orbit by the 29th, and Mercury retrograde is a spiritual transit. It's the going within, which is so much the learning on planet now, is the going within to work with your energy, your healing, your love, and to then direct and create differently. Then we head right into the new moon partial solar eclipse in Taurus at 10 degrees. And this is conjunct Uranus, and it's making a nice tight sextile to Mars in Pisces. So again, this is bringing the Uranus conjunction is also epiphanies and the vibrational universe, right? The quantum field, insights. Uranus also represents freedom themes and moving beyond limitations, exciting developments, sometimes upsetting. But if you can look at it from the perspective of this is supposed to be happening for my growth and evolution, and how will I respond to this or that or the other? Certainly this is going to bring in focus um, electronic currencies, cryptocurrencies. That is going to be a theme. And we know that the Fed is getting into that area, which is interesting because they're supposed to regulate that, but now they're saying, no, we're getting in the game. So with the referee with the whistle, get out of the way, we want to kick the goal in. Just a little metaphor there. And what's also occurring at this new moon solar eclipse is Venus is conjunct Jupiter at 28 degrees of Pisces, which is one of the most yummy connections between what we call the beneficial planets. This can be beautiful, again, for feeling much more connected, for finances, for money, for love, for resources, for healing, for well-being. This eclipse, it's a partial, which means it's not in perfect alignment. The moon comes between the sun and the earth, but the moon only partially covers the sun's disk, so it looks like it's taking a bite out of the sun. And this will perfect at 4:28 p.m. Eastern time. It lasts from about 2:30 to about 6:30, so about 4 hours. And the only area that this new moon solar is visible from is South America and Antarctica. It's very interesting. When eclipses pass over regions and countries, without fail, we see those areas in the news in some fashion, or they're on the global stage for the developments. So this will be a focus into the months ahead as well. But certainly, this is a time for working with your intentions and setting those intentions at this new moon solar eclipse. And I'll finish this with just a little message that my guides brought in for this share, and that is the souls and a soul being able to balance the overly used intellectual faculties and to extend within themselves the intuitive, the feeling, the sensory, and the knowing. This can literally feel like a large void for those who have been living overly much in their head and ignoring their heart. This carries its own warning because Earth has been too filled with pretty language and deceptive language, but also the overthinking which can cloud truth and perception. We ask you to place both hands on your heart and bring focus and light there. There's a healing available here regarding grief and sadness and guilt and numbness and suppression of feelings. To suppress your emotions and your heart is to live out half a human life. That can be quite dry and arid. So we call to you to bring focus and light to your beautiful human heart, to expand and hold in great respect, self-love, and comfort. Blessings, everybody.